The date is Monday, August 16. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gill. Jamaica welcomed the arrival of the 1 millionth stopover visitor to the island for 2021 on Sunday, August 15 at the Sangster International Airport. Marlon Samuels has more in this report.
The JetBlue flight pulled up to the jetway at the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay shortly before 1 on Sunday, August 15, 2021. As the passengers deplaned, a team from the Jamaica Tourist Board, led by Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett, was on hand to welcome the 1 millionth stopover visitor to the island.
I have been traveling back and forth to Jamaica for over 30 years now, and this has never happened. I am so excited. Wow. I feel like joy.
In 2020, Jamaica implemented robust COVID-19 protocols to safeguard public health and social well-being. Special marketing campaigns were also implemented to attract new and returning visitors to the island. They have been proven effective by renewing confidence in Jamaica's tourism product.
I come here every year except last year when the COVID. Yeah, I've been back every year.
For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
The Carnival Sunshine cruise ship is scheduled to call at the port of Ocho today, August 16. The move marks a major step in the phased reopening of Jamaica's tourism sector, as it's the first cruise ship with international passengers to call at a Jamaican port since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett, in a statement, says the resumption will have a positive impact on the economy in general, as many rely on the cruise shipping industry for their livelihood.
Tourism in Jamaica and the Caribbean region grounded to a temporary halt with the advent of COVID-19 in March 2020. Since then, the industry has experienced exponential growth. On Sunday, August 15, Jamaica welcomed its 1 millionth stopover visitor to the island at the Sangster International Airport. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett described the moment as, quote, a milestone achievement in tourism annals.
Never before, within a year and a month, have we ever had 1 million stopover visitors coming to our country. As a matter of fact, when we accumulate stopover and cruise, the record is still there, because it took us close to 20 years of recording numbers to reach the first million of both cruise and stopover. And all of you recall that on March 20, 2020, 0 tourist arrivals came into Jamaica from both cruise and stopover. 0 earnings for the country. And so the achievement of this million visitors means that we now have generated, since the opening on the 15th of June 2020, a little over 1.5 billion US dollars of foreign exchange earnings. We've been able to bring back the workers. It is to be recalled that when we closed the borders, we sent nearly 130,000 workers either on furlough or laid off completely, or were having a day a week or so. And since we have returned, over 50,000 workers have come back to work in the tourism sector, that's the accommodation sector and its immediately related areas.
The milestone achievement, which is contributing to and stimulating economic, social, political, and cultural activities, is due in part to the implementation of robust COVID-19 protocols and other innovative practices.
We have created the first and now replicating bubble called the Resilient Corridor. And Jamaica's Resilient Corridor is an example of how safe and seamless travel can be achieved, and how visitors can come to a destination, enjoy their vacation, create minimum of health issues, and leave fully satisfied and healthy.
As the cruise ship industry reopens, all tourism stakeholders are urged to become COVID compliant.
No cruise passenger will go to any attraction that is not COVID certified by TPDCO and the JTB and have licenses to operate as per the amusement license requirement of the local government ministry. And I want it to be very clear that you can come after me if you want, but we are not going to allow the opening for cruise to become a point of concern for the health and security of our people. The vaccination is available now. The minister made the point that he has sufficient to vaccinate a number of people. A vast majority of the workers, for example, in tourism can in fact be vaccinated. Not everybody, I agree. And we're not making things mandatory in the full sense of it. But we are saying that because we are a prescribed group and we are dealing with people who are also requiring that we have vaccinated stakeholders as a condition of their coming to Jamaica. Because the cruise lines have taken a different position in terms of their own protocol now. In fact, their protocol is more rigorous than many countries. And they are saying to me and to all of us, they are not exposing their guests to unvaccinated stakeholders.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Carol Francis.
As of Monday, August 16, Jamaicans will have to pay more in some forms of public transportation. According to the Transport Authority, Jamaicans will have to pay a 15% fare increase in bus and taxi fares. The transport and mining industry, in advising of the new transportation rates, says there will be no change to the fares on Jamaica Urban Transit Company and Montego Bay Metro buses. Further, the rate for the elderly, the disabled and the children will remain at 50% of the adult fare. Workers at the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, are reportedly restive. The Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, UCASE, says the more than 400 employees are upset about the non-payment of the performance-based incentive due in 2016 and 2017. According to the union, the incentive should have been paid in 2018. The management is being asked to make good on their commitment. And as the island-wide COVID-19 vaccination blitz continues, our news crew visited the eastern end of the island, to be specific, St. Thomas. Last Thursday, inoculations continued at the Princess Margaret Hospital. After receiving their jabs, a few of the citizens shared their views.
Well, I'm not going to say it's a particular reason why I took the vaccine, but normally we are vaccinated from childhood, growing up from birth. We have been vaccinated, so I don't see anything wrong with the vaccine. So I didn't have any I don't have any underlying sicknesses or anything like that, but I decided to take the vaccine for myself because the pros outweigh the vaccine.
I'm Denise Henry, and I just took my vaccine a while ago, and I mean, from the dissemination of information stage this morning, everything was superb. It was a free-flowing process to the registration process and to get my vaccine. I mean, the service here at Princess Margaret Hospital was just superb, and I'm encouraging everybody out there to come and get vaccinated. About the third wave, yes, we're concerned about the third wave. That's why I'm imploring persons to come out and get your vaccine. Better to be safe than sorry, because the pandemic is not yet over, and I'm imploring you guys, just come out, trust the process. Come out and take your vaccine, because we want to facilitate this face-to-face school. We want to continue to edify the nation. And come out and get vaccinated. Princess Margaret Hospital, very customer friendly. Come out, the process is so easy.
India celebrated its 75th Independence Day on Sunday, August 15. A range of cultural activities were held to mark the occasion. We get more from Carol Francis.
Members of the Indian community and Friends of India attended India House in Kingston, Jamaica to celebrate the 75th anniversary of India's independence from the United Kingdom. The day's activities began with a flag-raising ceremony. In his address, India's High Commissioner to Jamaica spoke of the country's achievements, people, culture, and resilience.
I wish that all our people come out of the difficulties caused by the COVID pandemic and move ahead on the path of happiness and prosperity. Once again, my best wishes to all of you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
As part of the festivities, tributes to India's freedom fighters and freedom struggles in Indian dialect were done in poetry, song, and dance.
పిల్లల్లారా పిల్లల్లారా మీ కన్నుల్లో పున్నమి జాబిలి ఉన్నాడు.
हम लोगों को समझ सको तो हम लोगों को समझ सको तो समझो दिल भर जानी. जितना भी तुम समझोगे उतनी होगी हैरानी. अपनी छतरी तुमको दे दे कभी जो बरसे पानी. कभी नए पैकेट में बेचे तुमको चीज पुरानी. फिर भी दिल है हिंदुस्तानी. 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 Jai Hind!
Food in India is described by some as an identity marker of lineage, religion, geography, and ethnicity. Those in attendance at India House were treated to a wide array of flavors, textures, and methods of preparations representing various provinces in India. Since gaining independence in 1947, India is now poised as a global leader for change, with its growing global profile in the fields of education, medicine, innovation, and technology. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Carol Francis.
We go now to the business desk as our reporter Gabriel Thompson keeps track of the latest financial updates.
In Friday's trading session, the JSE combined index advanced by 1,102 points to close at over 418,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 82 stocks, of which 27 advanced, 40 declined, and 15 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 4 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 1834 Investments Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services Limited, CAC 2000 Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Trading firm were 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Blue Power Group Limited, and Community and Workers of Jamaica CCU Deferred Share. Radio Jamaica Limited was the volume leader with over 9.2 million units, followed by Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares with over 4.7 million units, and QWI Investments Limited with over 1.9 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Friday, August 13, the US dollar sold for an average $155.50. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $124.87. The pound sterling traded for $215.26, and the euro sold for an average $184.94. In market data for oil, prices fell by about 1% on Monday, dropping for a third session after official data showed that refining throughput and economic activity slowed in China, in an indication that COVID-19 outbreaks are crimping the world's second largest economy. Brent crude futures dropped 1.49% to $69.54 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude lost 1.64% to $67.32 a barrel. And that's it for the Monday edition of the Business Report inside the news on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Pleasant viewing.
Here are some of the stories making headlines across the region. The death toll from Saturday's devastating 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Haiti climbed to over 1,290 on Sunday as rescuers continue to pick through the rubble in a desperate search for survivors. Local newspaper Le Nouveliste reports that many public buildings like hospitals, schools, hotels, churches, and private houses were damaged in the 3 departments most affected. Meanwhile, the country's Civil Protection Directorate says Haiti is under yellow alert since Sunday morning in the face of threats of heavy rain and strong winds that could happen with the passage of Tropical Storm Grace in the north of Haiti during the night of Monday to Tuesday. The Pan-American Health Organization PAHO has deployed teams to Port-au-Prince in Haiti to evaluate damage and coordinate an appropriate health response following the 7.2 magnitude earthquake that shook the country on Saturday. PAHO is also preparing several emergency medical teams as well as medical supplies and other strategic equipment that can be deployed if needed. Meanwhile, PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, in a media brief argued that the impact of climate change is one of the main threats to health, and combating it will help to achieve the UN development goals. PAHO head Dr. Carissa Etienne says research has shown that human activities continue to impact the change in climate, such as heat waves, heavy precipitation, drought, and tropical cyclones. She says the changes have direct and impact direct on human health.
So about 12.6 million deaths each year across the planet, or 23% of the total deaths, are attributable to environmental risk factors. And between 2030 and 2050, climate change is expected to cause an additional 250,000 deaths each year. And that would be due to malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress. Faced with these effects of climate change, people are already getting sick. They are losing their livelihoods and critical infrastructure and being driven to poverty and being displaced from their homes. This increases the demand on health services and creates additional challenges that the health sector must face.
Air pollution is another issue cited that can negatively impact the climate and cause health issues.
Air pollution contributes to non-communicable diseases. Extreme high temperatures contribute directly to deaths from cardiovascular and respiratory diseases. And other indirect effects of climate change lead to the increased risk of water and vector-borne diseases such as malaria, dengue fever, and cholera. In our region, among those most affected by climate change are people living in small island development states, children, and also the elderly.
A rise in sea level will also affect people living in small island developing states.
Projections indicate that over 260,000 people might have to be displaced from Caribbean islands by the year 2100. Some 233 multi-million-dollar tourism resorts would be lost, and 31 CARICOM airports and 710 kilometers of roads would be severely impacted. And this is in addition to the devastating effects of more frequent and greater intensity weather phenomena like hurricanes, droughts, floods, and storms.
Dr. Etienne says PAHO has been working with regional health sectors to prepare for the impact of these weather phenomena.
We must build resilient health systems and services with low greenhouse gas emissions and with the ability to adapt to the effects of extreme weather events. In the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, this is also important, but also to face similar future events.
According to the PAHO boss, to achieve this, countries must invest more in prevention.
Only about 3% of health resources are invested in prevention and health promotion. This is totally insufficient. So PAHO is now coordinating projects with partners to receive and implement funds from the Green Climate Fund and also other donors to increase the ability of health systems to better anticipate, to prepare, respond, but quickly recover from climate events that may harm health.
Dr. Etienne says it is important to integrate health and other surveillance. In Antigua and Barbuda, the Development of Control Authority is implementing an online one-stop shop to make it easier for people to apply for construction permits.
With a click of just a few buttons, architects, engineers, draftsmen, just about anyone will be able to apply to the DCA for a construction permit.
This is because the DCA is taking the process online with a one-stop shop portal. Based on a project's location, several agencies must sign off before the authority can approve a construction permit. It says this can take 144 days as the agencies pass the application among one another. The DCA connected with Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility to set up the online portal. CCPF has managed and helped fund the project for the past 3 years. Project lead Kieran Swift says the portal will make the DCA's work more efficient.
You have fewer steps involved, and some of those steps now run in parallel. So, for example, multiple agencies can review development plans and construction plans at the same time.
Applicants will be able to pay fees and monitor their application's progress online. CCPF symbolically handed the lead over to the DCA Friday.
From this point on, what we want to do is start off with a pilot project where we will engage a few persons from the public, mainly persons from the Architects Association, the Construction Association, and the Engineers Association to engage with us in a period of trial and testing.
The Information Technology Ministry has worked with software developer iOS partners to train workers at DCA and the other agencies to use the software.
What is taking place at the DCA today is a small subset of a much larger, bigger process of transformation that is taking place in the government of Antigua and Barbuda.
The portal's other benefits include reducing the application process by 50%, reducing paperwork by 90%, and increasing building code and guidelines compliance. The DCA also hopes to improve record keeping and collect vital data. The portal will go live to the public once the pilot phase is completed. Jimmy J. Roche, ABS News.
Over now to sports, we're out the blocks with athletics. There is a 24-hour delay to the start of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Nairobi, Kenya. The competition, which was slated to be held from August 17 to August 22, will now begin on the 18th. This could benefit the Jamaican team that is expected to assemble in the East Africa country by Saturday. In a release last Saturday, the organizers cited, quote, the impact of COVID on teams traveling and logistics of moving vital equipment around the world would have proven to be a challenge, end quote. The release says the condensing of the championships from 5.5 days to just 5 would not negatively impact the athletes attending from more than 100 countries. The new schedule delivers a fuller and faster-paced event, and the broadcast rights for these championships have been taken up by more than 14 countries, with 12 of them showing the event live. Jamaica's advanced 12-member delegation leaves for Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan today, Monday, August 16. Chef de mission for the team is Richard Shaw. All the members of the delegation, such as para-athletes, coaches, massage therapists, and a team doctor, will leave between August 20 and August 26 and will be led at the Games by Jamaica Paralympic Association President Christopher Samuda. The Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan will run from August 24 to September 5, 2021. And that's the news. Thanks for watching it right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.